everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you have had a very wonderful Christmas and I wish you a very happy new year. Today we are setting up my 2025 bullet journal, and the notebook I chose for the first half of 2025 is the original size notebook therapy notebook in this very cheerful yellow color. I will have this exact notebook linked in the description, as well as all the stationery I'll be using in this video. I am so obsessed with the size of this notebook, and the color is just so perfect. I started off with writing down my name at the front, and then I'm creating a grid spacing guide, grid spacing cheat sheet, whatever you want to call it, because this is my first time using Notebook Therapy's original size, so this will definitely come in handy. And if you're wondering, this notebook is 24 grid spaces wide by 35 grid spaces tall, which is smaller and more compact than a regular A5 notebook. I actually didn't press record for a significant part of this page, so I apologize, but it is quite simple. I just drew in the horizontal and vertical page divisions and the numbers along the sides, and here I'm just writing in my bullet keys. I know my keys off by heart, but it might be interesting for you guys to see, and I think it is nice to include at the beginning of a new journal. Then on the next page, I am doing my 2025 cover. I took out my gouache paints and started painting lemons onto the page. I've always struggled to settle on a theme for the start of a new journal because I don't want it to be anything too specific or something that I would get tired of quickly, because I gotta use it for a long time, right? But this time it was quite an easy decision. Since the cover of this notebook has lemons on it, I decided to go with lemons for these first few pages as well. For the leaves, I used the sky blue color, which is my favorite color. I will list all the color names of the gouache paints I used in the description as well, in case you want to mix the same color as I did. I mixed in a lot of white to achieve these soft pastel colors, and I think it is perfect to start off the new year. Another thing you might want to take into account with gouache paints is that they tend to dry darker than the color you see when you mix them. So what I like to do is I will swatch a little bit of paint onto a piece of paper and wait for it to dry to see what the actual color will be. You can really take your time with this process to get the colors you want and not worry about the paint drying, because you can always re-wet them using some water. After the leaves are done, I painted in the flowers with this baby pink color, but I think they turn out looking more like stars than flowers, but that's okay because I think they still look super cute. For the middle of the flowers, I wanted to do like a red dot in the middle, but then I didn't really like it, so I tried to erase it, but it turned into a mess, but a beautiful mess, so I just decided to roll with it, and now the center of the flowers are this dark pink color. At the bottom of the painting, I am writing 2025 in this thin serif style font. I feel like I do these a lot for the beginning of the year titles. I think I did a similar font for 2024 as well. They are just simple to do and I don't have to think too much about it. And I noticed that many other people also use this type of font to write in the year. So I guess I am quite influenced by the bujo community. And that is my grid spacing guide and cover page. Next, we will move on to my future log, which this year I kept it super simple and minimal. I am not writing a title for the future log this time. I don't know why I always found it a little weird to write a future log title, so this time I decided to just skip it completely. I am splitting the page into thirds to make space for 3 months per page and drew in a bar at the top of the left side of each section, which will be the highlight for the days of the week. I wrote in the months above the blue bars and then wrote in the dates for all of the months. I know it would have saved me a lot of time and pain if I just printed out the calendars or something, but I love the look of my own handwriting, which sounds so self-absorbed, but it's true, I do really like my own handwriting. I don't know why I'm not as excited for the new year as I normally am. 2024 has been a weird year for me. So much happened this year, but at the same time, I also feel like I made no substantial progress. And the holidays this year has been weird too. My grandma usually deck out our house with Christmas lights, but she didn't put any up this year. And everyone has been so busy this year that we decided to not have a Christmas Eve dinner, which as far as I can remember, I've never had a year where we didn't have a Christmas Eve dinner, so it hasn't registered in my brain yet that it is so close to the end of the year, because these past few days did not feel like Christmas for me at all. I am doing the future log for the whole 12 months, even though I'll only probably be in this notebook for the first 6 months of the year. It's just nice to have the whole 12 months. So let's go ahead and duplicate what we just did for the next 2 pages, and we are done with our future log. And I only messed up the numbers once. The next page we are setting up is my cycle tracker, and I am painting more lemons at the bottom left of the page. I find having a cycle tracker so useful, not just for tracking my cycle and the symptoms that comes with it, but also for forecasting when it's that time of the month, which is incredibly useful when planning dates for upcoming trips. I've tried using apps on my phone, but none of them ever worked out for me. I much prefer the simple tracker in my bullet journal. I really want to know what you guys are excited for in 2025. Like, I have a snowboarding trip coming up in January, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I have my graduation ceremony in February, which, to be honest, I'm feeling more dread than excitement because I know that there will be so many people and so much traffic. And the rehearsals for the ceremony actually means that I will have to cut my snowboarding trip short, so I'm not too excited about that, but you guys might have more things to look forward to than I do, so leave your comments down below and we can have a little conversation about it. At the top of the page, I stamped out cycle with some wooden stamps and wrote down my keys underneath it. This time for each month, I am writing actual numbers for the dates and not just dots like I did in the past, because especially with my last bujo, I found that it has been a little bit of a hassle to line up the dots to the dates, so I made my life a little easier this time by just putting the dates down. Of course, it took a little longer to set up, but I hope that my future self is thanking me right now because she can just see what date it is just by a glance. The next and final page we'll be setting up in this video will be a year in pixels. Yes, I'm doing a year in pixels this time because I've started to notice my mood patterns in correlation to my cycle, so I wanted to have something to track my mood next to my cycle tracker so that this year I can hopefully see clear patterns. I say hopefully because I've done year in pixels in the past and have failed horribly, so we'll see how this goes this time. This is the final page that we'll set up together, but I might also do a 2025 goals page / vision board, but I haven't really decided on that yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm even thinking about doing a quarterly vision board instead of doing it for the whole year because a year is so long in comparison to 3 months. I feel like just focusing on the next 3 months, you can have a better picture of what it's going to look like comparing to looking at an entire year. I stamped mood onto the top and made the layout super similar to the cycle tracker so that it will be easier to see any patterns. And finally, at the bottom here, I am writing down my keys. I picked out 5 colors that went well with the color scheme of this setup and made little circles with faces underneath them. And here is a flip through of all the spreads we made today. Setting up a new bullet journal for the new year is something I always look forward to, so I hope that you have fun setting up yours too. I wish that your holidays has been amazing. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. My vlogging channel is linked down below if you're interested. Have a wonderful day or night. Bye!